This recording started.
Hey, 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 it's me, Melanie, the book boss lady. It's me, Melanie, the book boss lady. Hey, it's me, Melanie, the book boss lady, where we talk about books, business, being a boss, and everything in between. And tonight is the night for our six-figure author SoundStage podcast. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm so excited to be here on this evening. We have a special guest on this evening. Can you hear me okay, Maurice?
I certainly can.
Awesome. Great. Glad to have you. Well, we are going to go ahead and get started. For our guests that are here, if you can please put in the chat what city and state you're coming in from. We would love to hear that. I see you all coming in. And so we are excited. We have some amazing information. We have an amazing guest on tonight that is just going to share about his book. And we're going to just get a little bit more information. So Maurice. So tell me a little bit about why you wrote your book.
Certainly. First, I'll start out by saying that I wanted to write this book years ago, and my best friend and my cousin talked me out of it. They said nobody would be interested in hearing about what goes on in these neighborhoods. So I procrastinated for years, and I believed them. And then I started teaching classes at University of Maryland Global Campus. I decided to use my actual cases as a case study, as case studies. So I will not tell the students that these were actual cases until they finish working on the case study. And at the end, I said, "This you just worked on a true case. You just went through what I went through as a patrol officer, as a detective. Now you had to make those last minute decisions that affect people's lives like I did." And my students would say, "You got to be kidding me. These are really real stories?" I'm like, "Yes, they were." And class after class kept saying, "This would make a great book." And then the second thing was I had other officers that I work with. They would often say to me, "So Maurice, tell about the story about the guy who you was fighting in the woods. It was like a robot. Tell him about this drug case you worked." And they kept asking me to tell other officers about it. So I said, maybe I have something here.
I love it. You know what? That is so interesting. I'm glad you said that because there are some people that are listening now, and there are some people that's going to watch the replay. Hey, Mary, we got Mary in Chicago in the house, but we have some people that are going to be literally listening to this and say, you know what? Somebody told me my book wasn't going to make a great book, that nobody would read my book. But you have to get out there and do it. You can't listen to what everybody tell you to do. You have to make a decision that whatever's in your spirit, whatever you think about, or whatever the God lays on your heart is the thing you're going to have to take action on. You can't listen to everybody. So I am so glad that you made a decision, even though all of those people told you it wasn't going to work. You made a decision that you were still going to do it. So congratulations on that, Maurice.
Thank you very
And
much.
I'm so excited about that. So tell me a little bit about what is looking for trouble? What is it? Why is it important? And why do you recommend people read that book?
Looking for Trouble is a memoir about my life growing up as an introvert in the city of Baltimore, growing up watching people commit crimes, shooting up heroin from the back of where I live, and feeling helpless about what was going on. And I always felt like it was someone else's problem to solve. And
Hmm.
something happened that really changed the trajectory of my life. And after watching these individuals shooting up heroin from the back of where I live, something happened where they did a burglary at my mentor's house, who lived two doors down. And when they came back from doing a burglary and they were loading stuff in this abandoned garage, one of these young men who was about 15 showed me his gun, and he motioned me to be quiet. And I was horrified. I was terrified. And my mentor came home a short time later and asked me a critical question. She said, Maurice, did you see anything? And I hesitated for a second and I told her no. And I told her no
Mm,
because number one, I was afraid. Second of all, we grew up to not tell on people, not be a snitch. And this is something that troubled me for years. It really, really, bothered me, that I didn't have the courage to stand up. And again, I was
mm.
thinking somebody really needs to do something about this. 10 years later, my cousin expressed an interest in joining the police department in Baltimore. And I came
Mm.
down there with him, just to keep him company. And the recruiter said, hey, son, while you're here, I want you to take this test. So I'm like, I was an obedient young man. So I said, yes, sir. So I took the test and he said, I'm glad you are going to become a Baltimore City police officer. I said, sir, I have no interest. Right. So, so I ended up joining, my cousin didn't. So I go through the police academy and I'm walking foot patrol in the high rise projects. And I come across this lady who's, she looks distraught. And I asked her, what's wrong? And she said, somebody broke into my home. And
No.
so I said, I'm a rookie. I said, well, let me go and take a report. So I go and take a report and I see that there's nothing in her house whatsoever. And so I said, so, are you expecting new furniture? She said, sir, you don't understand. They took everything, the furniture,
Wow.
the food out of my refrigerator, the refrigerator ornaments, my Bible, my laundry detergent, the clothes off the clothing line. They completely cleaned this lady's house out while she went on vacation. So I asked her, I said, so who's investigating the case? She said, investigating the case. I didn't call the police. So I'm like, why not? And she said, you all don't care about us. And I said, do me a favor, ma'am. Look at me. I said, I care. So my investigative skills were minimal at the time. So I said to her, I'm going to take a report and I'm going to look into this for you. So I took a very detailed report and I remember some of the things to this day. She had a child had a wagon with a wheel missing. These refrigerator ornaments looked like the sun. She had a red leather coat. So I take the report and I do a neighborhood canvas. I knock on doors and find out what everyone said they haven't seen anything. No one saw anything. So I kind of took a page out of my upbringing in Baltimore and said, somebody saw what happened, but they don't want to say anything. So I go and I come across this apartment and I see some things like her property. So I run back across the street and I tell her, I said, ma'am, take a peek in here and see. She said, oh my God, that's my stuff. So I do some investigation. I find out who stays there. I go down and I find her. I bring her back. And I said, look, the gig is up. You know, you have a stolen property. So I was able to get a stolen property back to her. But still, there was some item missing. So I started asking other people. And I found her other property, which was buried in the woods. So word got around that there was this young rookie patrol officer who cared about people in the community. So these citizens started coming to me with their unreported, unsolved cases, and I started solving them for them. And that's when I realized that police work was my calling. That incident that happened when I was 11 years old, 10 years earlier, happened for a reason. And now I was going to make a difference in people's lives. And I reflected back on something my stepfather told me when I was growing up. And he would say, Maurice, you're never going to be anything. You're stupid. You're retarded. And I remember just feeling low about it. And I ran away from home, went to my grandfather's house, and he said, Maurice, you have a good heart and you have a good mind, and you're going to make a tremendous difference in people's lives. And I realized that my grandfather's prophecy was coming into fruition.
Amen. 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 I can hear the passion in your voice. And it makes a difference when you know you're called to do something opposed to you're just doing a job just for the money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Absolutely.
telling you, this is wow. I'm just going to say wow because I've known you for a while and I've never knew. See, this is why these
Mhm.
podcasts are amazing. I never knew that that is why you wrote the book. Look, Tamara said, "What a powerful testimony." Thank you, Tamara. And Tamara
Thank
actually
you.
lives in Maryland as well. Well, she's from Maryland. I know she's from Maryland in the DMV area. And for you to be a Baltimore area police officer, and you started making a difference and making a change, and now people know that there are police officers out there who really care, right?
A-
All
a-
police officers aren't there just for a paycheck or just for the donuts and coffee, right?
Absolutely. We care about what you're going through because I went through it. I
Mm.
understood what it was like to live under siege, and have the police, you know, not enforce the law and just out there selling drugs with impunity. And I always wonder, why weren't they doing their jobs? Who were their supervisors? And why didn't they care about what we were going through?
I had a situation one time as well, and I remember I'm not going to share it on here because it may affect some other people in my family right now, and they may be watching the YouTube so
Mm.
later. So I can't. I'm not going to go into details with it, but I remember feeling like, man, I can't believe nobody's doing anything. Nobody has. I mean, I was totally devastated, right? So my daughter, well, I guess my daughter was missing, and I remember seeing the police, a couple police officers, just like I said, just sitting around drinking coffee or whatever. And I was so upset and so distraught.
Mm.
And I was like, why aren't y'all doing anything? I was like,
Yes.
y'all just sitting around, what are you doing? And then the police officer was like, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. And it was just that moment in my life. That was the only time I really felt like, wow, what are these police officers really doing? Do they really want to help? Are they here to help, or are they just here to sit around and kind of, and it's like, what, they don't stop at little stuff. Like, I drive very slow. This is so funny, Maurice. Like, horribly, like very slow to the point of I get complaints all the time, right? When my aunt's supposed to be a role model, when she'd get in the car, me, you need to put your pedal to the metal. So I've really, drive pretty slow. I like old lady all my life. It didn't matter how young I was, I always drive
Mhm.
slow. And I get stopped by the police. Like,
Really?
y'all don't y'all have real crimes to stop? I got stopped one time for going 5 miles over the speed limit,
Oh my
Maurice.
goodness.
5 miles over the speed limit. I've got stopped for driving too slow before.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And my thought process is, don't y'all have lives to save?
Mhm.
Don't y'all have, I got stopped for putting on
Yes.
lipstick. I was in
Mhm.
DC one time and I was putting on lipstick. He said, oh, you should not supposed to be putting makeup on while you're driving. Like, you don't have anything else better to do, police officer. So
Lord help them.
exactly, Lord, that was my thought. I'm like, these police officers, they have people are really committing like real crimes, like you say, the drug people on the streets. But y'all stopping me because I'm going 5 miles over the speed limit, and I already know I drive slow, and that's probably because somebody, on my tail is probably the only reason why I'm going 5 miles over the speed limit, or I'm putting on lipstick and you stopping me. So again, I want to appreciate what you have done and what you doing for the community, and to know that police officers really care. And so I want you all to go. I put his link in there. The name of the book is Looking for Trouble. And of course, it's true stories of when he was, working undercover and different things. And I'm telling you right now, you want to get a copy of this book. You want to read the book. He's not only a law enforcement officer for many years, but he's also a veteran of the United States military. So most of you know I am a veteran of the United States military as well, the United States Army to be exact. And it's for you to have, I always commend people that have both, because people say, as a veteran, when we go to war, we're putting our lives at stake. And not even just when we go to war, there's, different things. Like my daughter's in the DC National Guard. I don't know if I should have said, well, anyway, she's in the DC National Guard. She's full time there. And they have different things that they have to do as well. However, to me, police officers put their life on the line every day, right? They put
Yes,
themselves in situations every day. So for you to do both, be in the military, a veteran of the United States military, and to have been an officer, you like double put yourself on the line. So tell me, was there anything that you learned in the military that you think that helped you be a better law enforcement officer?
absolutely. In fact, there's no way I could have been as effective as I was in law enforcement and deal with the not only with the people on the street, but the internal pressures, dealing with people with very strong personalities. If it wasn't for my military training, I know God ordained my time in the Marines to prepare me for law enforcement, to have the
Mm,
discipline and the
yes.
motivation to be able to work these cases. It came from my military training, without a doubt.
Awesome. Amen.
Mm.
I'm glad you said that. Hey, Felix. We have Felix in the house who said hi. Thank you. Welcome, Felix. Make sure y'all share. If you haven't already done so, please share this with someone you know, so that we could get more people on. And also give me a thumbs up, give me a like, but share this broadcast. Felix, where you're coming in from, let us know. But again, I'm super excited, just really, really excited about what you have done. And you said something, the military actually helped me prepare me for a lot of things in life as well. And you do have to have some sort of what I call mental toughness. And you learn, discipline. I know for me, I learned discipline. I learned organizational skills. I learned leadership skills. People ask me, well, how were you disciplined enough to write 10 best-selling books? All of my books are number one Amazon bestsellers. They're like, how did you do that? I'm sure it takes a lot of discipline in order to write 10 books. And I'm like, it did. But I really, learned a lot, and I attested to the discipline that I received when I was in the military. So thank you for sharing that as well, Maurice. So y'all thank you for your service in the chat. Thank you for your service, Maurice. And Phyllis,
Thank
we have
you.
Phyllis coming in from Montgomery, Alabama.
Mhm.
Welcome, welcome, welcome from Montgomery, Alabama. So again, I love to ask authors, like, okay, how did you get some of the inspiration? Now, you told us the reason why you wrote the book and what
Mhm.
inspired you to write the book. I
Yes.
know at some point, I know for me and a lot of authors that I have spoken with, at some point, something happens to try to delay the process, to try to distractions come.
Mhm.
So, did you have any distractions that came that tried to keep you from, like, really, really, that got in the way where you were working on this book that was really a challenge? Did you have any challenges or distractions that came while you were working on this book, Maurice?
Absolutely. I was at a security company, private detective agency. I was teaching at two universities. So all these things occupied a bunch of my time. And
Mm,
I saw an opportunity during the pandemic. I said, now I'm going to do it. So during the pandemic, for that 2.5 months, I went on a marathon every waking moment writing that book. I'm like, it's either now or never. And
wow.
that's all I did for that 2.5 months, was write that book.
Wow.
Mm.
That's huge. That is huge. I'm glad. No, seriously, Maurice,
Mm.
I'm glad you said that because there are a lot of people that did not maximize that time. A lot of people sat around, moaned, complained, I'm stuck in the house, blah, blah, blah. But you and a few other people, I know quite a few other people that maximized that time and said, you know what? I'm going to write my book instead of complaining. I'm going to spend this time and use this time wisely. One lady I know, oh, her name is, she's actually a pastor out in Texas, Joan Hunter. I don't know if you ever heard of Joan Hunter, but I went to Houston for a conference she had out there in Texas. And I remember her saying during the pandemic, she wrote 4 books. Okay, not one, not two, 4 books in one year.
Mm.
She was like, okay, well, I'm not on the road traveling as much because she travels internationally, worldwide.
Mm.
And I sat there and I was like, wow. we need to make sure every time we get a chance to maximize our time, we need to do it. Some people are saying, some things are going to happen again. And if anything else happens, take this time out to learn from somebody like Maurice, learn from somebody like Joan Hunter, learn from other people who said, you know what? I'm going to maximize this time while we're stuck in the house, and I'm going to get this thing done that I know I
Yes.
needed to get done, that I've been sitting on, that I haven't gotten done. So I'm glad you shared that. You maximize that time. And I hope you teach other people how to do that as well.
Absolutely.
Because that is so important. That's huge. And so, Maurice, so do you have another book coming? Tell us about if you have another book coming out and when it's coming out. If you do, tell us a little bit about that. What is in the future for Maurice?
Sure. So I'm working on Looking for Trouble 2. I'm about a quarter way through it. It'll be the sequel to my current book.
Okay.
And so I go from being a rookie in the first book, I go from being a rookie patrol officer who runs into an aspiring drug kingpin.
Mm.
Okay. So, and I'll never forget the first time I saw this individual. It was like something you see in a movie. We get a call for 2 men in a vehicle armed with a shotgun. And this is what we call the overlap day. So we had the morning shift, the evening shift coming on, and two other squads because it was called overlap day. We have extra manpower. So we get a call, and I'm with my training officer, and all these patrol officers converge on this vehicle. And I see, they all got behind their cars with their guns pointed. I was like, who in the world is this guy? So the guy gets, they get the guys out the car, and they search his car, and he has shotgun shells, but no shotgun, and he just laughing and giggling. And I asked my field trainer, I said, "Who is this guy?" He said, "Well, I'm gonna tell you, he's a little wannabe kingpin." He
Ooh.
said, "You'll be cut loose in about 2 weeks, and this is gonna be your beat. It's gonna be your problem." So, sure enough, about 2 weeks later, I'm patrolling the area myself. I run into this young man who's selling drugs in the corner, and I go up to him and I say, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" And he goes, "Officer Hicks, you don't know I could have you killed." I'm like, "Whoa, wait a minute, hold, what's going on here?" He said, "You don't know who I work for." I said, "Son, I know exactly who you work for, and I want you to understand this. When you come up short, he's not going to send you a bill. He's going to hit a hit. He's going to send a hit squad. And they're going to kill you." That young man would eventually meet his demise. But a few days after that, I see this aspiring kingpin standing at the top of the hill, and I described it as him looking down his empire like a mighty lion. And I roll up on him and I say to him, "Let my people go."
Mm.
So he get these two henchmen beside him. One's named Jungle Jim, the other one's name is Pitbull. He elbows them and started laughing. He said, "Come again? What did you just say?" I said, "Let my people go." I said, "Brother, you are the distributor of death and destruction." I said, "These guys become magnets for enemy fire." He laughs at me and says, "I don't understand that. Only thing I understand is money."
Wow.
So
You know what, Marie? This needs to be a movie, okay? Do you have a movie coming?
that is the prayer.
Look, we got the Blessed Life LLC was like, wow. Look, this is like, I'm like, and you still here to tell the story. That's what's so. I told y'all you put your life on the line twice for the military and for. I mean, that's like crazy. That sounds like a movie. It
Yes,
sounds like some
it's just
I'm
and
thinking about
after
some of those movies that my sister used to watch. She used to watch a lot of these type of movies like what you're talking about with the kingpin,
yeah.
the drug
So
kingpins, and I'm like, wow.
So interestingly, after that, I get back, I go to my patrol car, and I realize this guy's never going to stop. He loves it too much. He loves the murder. He loves the mayhem. Because people getting killed and people getting shot, and he's beating every case. The best and best of homicide can't catch him. The best and best narcotics detectives can't catch him. Prosecutors, everybody's frustrated because he has the best attorney. Everything else, he's getting away with this. So I realized, that he's never going to stop. So that that would take me. I would go from being a rookie patrol officer, go to major narcotics, then go to homicide, and eventually the FBI trying to investigate this organization. And the interesting thing is the way I fell into, investigating this case. You know how I got selected for the process. So the two homicide detectives and the sergeant on the homicide scene, and they're asking witnesses about what happened. They mention this guy's name, and this lady just goes in hysterics. And the sergeant said, "My God, is he that bad?" Homicide detectives say, "We've been trying to tell you this guy's been killing people for like 10 years."
Oh,
And so the sergeant sends the information up the chain of command. The chief of detective gets word, and he calls down to Major Narcotics, where I'm assigned at the time. He calls and he says, "So tell me, Lieutenant, we have this guy who's a big drug dealer. They said he's killing people. So tell me, you have all that manpower in Major Narcotics. So tell me, Lieutenant, which one of your hot shots is investigating him?" And Lieutenant said he was sweating bullets. He goes, he has a clerk check the computer, and what pops up? Investigation Detective Hicks, one arrest made. So he gets back on the phone with the chief of detectives. "Yes, one of my men, has him an investigation." He said, "Good." So I come to work. They said, before I sit down, they said, "Lieutenant wants to see you." I'm like, "Oh, what's the deal?" He said, "Maurice," he tells me the story of what happened. He said, "They wanted me to send someone to homicide. And when I mentioned it, all these non-narc blank blanks were lined up to go." And I said, "No." He said, I told him, "No. None of you hot shots had him under investigation. Maurice had him in investigation, and Maurice is going to homicide." And that's how I got there. And then it blossomed
wow.
from homicide when they found out he was involved in selling drugs in other jurisdictions. Then it went to the FBI, and I was sworn in as a special agent with the FBI.
Wow,
Mhm.
wow, wow.
Yes.
Okay, Maurice, this, like I said, this some good stuff. I
Mhm.
wish we had more people on to hear about this. We gonna get this out more. This is amazing. I'm telling you, people don't even know. They don't understand what goes on behind the scenes. And you just like share some behind the scenes things that we
Mhm.
need to. And again, we have a few people on here that live in Maryland. I know the Blessed Life. Look, she said very interesting. Look, he's right in Baltimore, Maryland, the Blessed Life. I know the Blessed Life LLC. She's right in Maryland as well. She's more in Southern Maryland. But still, look, you right up the street from a lot of the
Mhm.
people on here. Thank you all for your continued support, for being here. And make sure you go get a copy of Maurice's book, Looking for Trouble. Here's the link on Amazon. You want to support him after you read the book. You want to definitely put a, a review on Amazon. He has currently 74 ratings, which is phenomenal. You can see 4.9, almost a 5-star rating. Matter of fact, give him 5 stars when you go to it. But his book is in the paperback, hardcover, Kindle. Maurice, and I know the Blessed Life LLC want to know this because this is what she do. Do you intend on bringing? I know you have the movie coming out,
Mhm.
but before the movie come out, do you intend on putting this in an audible, in audio?
Yes, I've already recorded Audible. Now it's just a matter of getting it formatted correctly. So Audible is on the way.
Awesome. Okay, she said PG County. See, I'm gonna
Mhm.
go share. Look, she said, I want to go say PG County, the Blessed
Mhm.
Life. She said, yeah, I will have to get that, but I know you do. I know. See, I already knew because that's
Mhm.
what she reads. She said, okay, I need the audio. So yes, we want to make sure he has the audio coming soon. The Blessed Life. Just keep looking back. Follow his Amazon Author Central page. Everyone, if you're waiting for the Audible, you could click on his name on Amazon and then where it says follow right beside his photo, so you could follow his Amazon Author Central page, so that when his next book come out, guess what? Amazon will send you an email letting you know when his next book come out. See, y'all didn't know that, did you? See, this is a really nice. See, this is why we have this. She said PG County, Pretty Girl County. I ain't never heard that one before, but okay. Praise the Lord. See, since I live in Florida now, I be telling people I used to live in Prince George's County. I try to be all technical. They be like, people know they know all over the world. They be like PG County, and they say you must not be from there because people from there say PG. I said no, I'm trying to be proper and actually say the right name.
Yeah, for some reason they're trying to get away from PG to say Prince George. They've been trying to do it for years, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say.
yeah, it's
I
kind of
don't
ingrained in
know.
us, like LA. It's kind of ingrained in us.
Right, it
To say
is.
that.
And again, I don't even live there anymore. And people everywhere I go, people know it as PG County. So I'm like, yeah, we know this is PG County. But yes, yes, yes. So I wanted to give again because it's a six-figure author soundstage. So we have readers as well as we have authors on. And so I want to talk a little bit about book marketing. You're in my six-figure author academy. And one of the strategies I actually just gave for people that weren't paying attention, make sure you ask people to follow your Author Central page on Amazon, because Amazon will do the work for you and promote your next book, letting people know that book come out. What would you say your best book marketing strategy would be for those that want to write a book or those that have a book and they don't know how to promote it or what to do? What would you say that have been effective for you, Maurice, as far as working on your book?
Sure, without social media, without a doubt, you know, um, one of the things I did that really changed my writing style was posting excerpts from my book
Mm,
as teasers.
okay.
And people would say, Maurice, oh my God, man, I got to get that book because, man, you just left me hanging. So that helped really, really promote the book. And again, it helped me to write the book in a more suspenseful way because I
Mm,
couldn't give out the outcome of the cases. So
right.
that, using LinkedIn and Facebook, and then more recently Instagram has been my main most effective strategy.
Awesome. Okay.
Yes.
And Vicky said, good advice. Good advice. Thank you. Welcome,
Mhm.
Vicky. Vicky, let us know where you're coming in from. Please put in the chat what city and state or country. We have people that watch from all over the world. And that's another thing. Social media is all over the world. You can really connect with people everywhere. And so I'm glad you mentioned social media, because a lot of authors, they tell me they're scared or they're nervous or they don't want to be out there or they don't have time for social media, but they're watching. It's like, well, instead of just watching, why aren't you posting? Some say they don't know what to post, and you just gave an idea. You some excerpts from the book, and then now you post a lot when you do your book signings. You're posting those, or you're posting information. So I am so excited. She must be in the DMV also. She said, "Don't bother." Class of 1979. Okay. We got the DMV in the house strong tonight, Baltimore, and we have PG County, DC. So the Blessed Life LLC says there are a lot of former convicts with
Yes.
YouTube channel.
Yes, indeed they
Yes,
are.
it's nice to get a different perspective as well. So because a lot of them can't get jobs, that's a lot. That's why a lot of them have YouTube channels and they're getting paid a lot of money. And like he said, you can really use social media as a streams of income, as I've been teaching them in the Six Figure Author Academy. And so I see why a lot of former convicts have YouTube channels, because that can be a stream of income for them. So thank you for sharing that, the Blessed Life LLC. And yes, it is good to get a different perspective. And I can't wait to see some more materials, a lot of material from Maurice's YouTube channel, right, Maurice? Now,
Yes, yes,
Maurice.
indeed. And may I finish answer your question about the looking for trouble too?
Oh, absolutely,
Sure.
absolutely. Go ahead, because I'll be talking.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So the book picks up. I make sergeant, and then I'm
Okay.
faced with other political challenges. Uh, I would describe as sometimes people the coup, people try to overthrow you. Uh, I go back and I'm leading the squad doing the narcotics investigations, and I'm also assigned to robbery. So that, one of my chapters is called the Ski Mask Way, and I talk about all these robberies that we have in the county, and it's really amazing stories about, you know, kids grow up talk about catching, cops and robbers. I give you the real behind the scenes look at these habitual robbers.
Wow.
Yeah, for everybody from
Wow, wow. Yeah, we
hitting the
need to see
banks.
behind the scenes. We need to see how they
Mm,
think, right?
yeah.
We want to see how they think. So thank you for
Mm,
I am looking forward to it.
mm.
Now, did you go to Dunbar, Maurice? Is there someone that went
Us,
to? Okay, that's what.
Dunbar, class of 1979, graduate of class of
Okay, so
1979.
Vicky,
Yes.
thank you for supporting your classmate. Awesome. Do you have the book, Vicky? If you don't already have the book, make sure you get a copy of the book. If you already have the book, please do a review on Amazon. Here's a link for the book as well. And again, we are excited about that. So there was something I asked you about earlier, Maurice, and you said, we talked about the military and how it helped you be in the law enforcement, right? Now,
Yes.
you say you're an introvert and you had no interest in going in the military or police
Correct.
work. Now, I understand why you went into police work, but why did you go in the military then if you had no interest?
One of my classmates from the class of 1979 at Dunbar High School. I already say his first name, Sylvester. I went down with Sylvester, who told me he wanted to join the Marines. Same scenario. The recruiter said, "Son, while you're here, why don't you take this test?" And being the obedient young man I was, I'm like, "Yes, sir." So we both took the test. We both passed it. He decided not to join. So he said, I'm glad you want to become a United States Marine. I said, I don't want to become a Marine. So next thing you know, I'm headed to Paris Island, South Carolina. Recruit training. So that's how I got the Marines too. And believe me, they had a field day with the introvert. The
Wow,
clueless introvert,
wow,
they had a field day
wow.
with me.
That is crazy. Okay, so well, the good thing is you do follow instructions, and I can attest to that. Again, he's in a six-figure author academy. I have people, some of them don't always follow instructions, but Maurice, he follows instructions and quickly. I was like, okay, make sure you sign up to be a part of the six-figure author SoundStage, right? You see, he's on the six-figure author SoundStage, so. Oh, I'm really excited about your journey and what God is doing in and through you and your passion and just really getting out there with your books. So, again, please make sure you go get a copy of his book. Go get a copy. Now, the Blessed Life LLC said, "What are your social media names?" So, his social media names are Maurice. So, I put the link here for his Facebook. Let me know what other social media you would like to bless life. Make sure, yes, go follow him on Facebook. Follow him. Is there anywhere else you want them to follow you?
LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Awesome. Go follow him on LinkedIn as well. There is a football player named Maurice when I Googled it, Maurice Hicks. So you want to
Yes.
always
Yes.
put
Yes.
author Maurice Hicks.
Yes.
Put author Maurice Hicks and he will come up. And hey, Sherry, how are you? So Sherry, you said, "Hey, yes." So Sherry said, "Yes, he does. Yes, he does." To what? I'm not sure what the question.
For
Oh,
social
follow
media.
instructions. Yes, yes, Sherry. I love it. Sherry, Sherry says, "Yes, he does. He always follows instructions." Praise the Lord. Like that is hilarious to me, but that's good. So no, because to me, those are the people that are most successful when you know how to follow instructions and you follow, because the thing is there's already somebody that where you want to be, right? Like if you want to be a motivational speaker like Les Brown, He already paved the way. He asked me last week, am I where you want to be? And I'm like, yes, sir. Just like you said, like, yes, sir. And he was like, well, are you willing to do what I tell you to do? And like right then, he was like, I need you to go watch this video. I had like 20 things to do right at that moment. I'm like, okay, let me go watch this video right now. He said, watch this video and call me right back. I'll say, okay, Mr. Brown. So,
I know you.
yes, sir, because I want to be just as a popular motivational speaker as Les
Mm,
Brown is. So why not do with the people that have already paved the way? They already minimized or eliminated the learning curve, right? And I believe if we follow instructions the way we need to, and I think that's something I learned a lot in the military too, because it's kind of hard to be rebellious in the military. You're gonna have a
mm.
hard road if you're rebellious in the
Yes, indeed, you
military.
will.
You don't follow
Mm,
instructions. And so instructions are great. So thank you. Yes, Sherry. Sherry confirmed that. She's like,
mm,
yes, he does always follow instructions. So the Blessed Life LLC said, oh, wait, we got to get on this because she said, is your Facebook page private? You know, we don't do private because again, it shouldn't be private, the Blessed Life LLC, because he's a
mm.
public figure. And I always tell public figures can't be private. Is your
Well, I
page?
have 3 pages, so if they type in Arthur Maurice Hicks, they'll get one of the three. I have 3 Facebook pages, so maybe on one of the other ones.
Ah, okay. So
Mhm,
one of them might be private. So it's not the private page.
mhm.
It's the one that uh, author Maurice Hicks. That's the public one, right, Maurice?
There should be. Like I said, I have 3. So, but if you
Okay.
go into one of my Facebook pages, I have all the links for the other Facebook pages as well.
Okay. Because I guess she's seeing a private page.
Mm.
Okay. So you want to make sure you go on his public page. Okay. So I do see author Maurice Hicks. And that is a public page, author Maurice Hicks. Thank you. All right. Thank you for following him. We appreciate it. Yes, Sherry says, how are you?
Mm,
I am blessed by the best
mm,
and living in success,
mm,
Sherry. It's great meeting
mm.
you. So and thank you for your support as well, watching the broadcast. So but yeah, you followed instructions, and when you failed following instructions, it took you right into, little did you know that it was gonna take you right into your destiny, right?
Yes, indeed.
Right into your destiny. So tell us, Maurice, is there any other thing you want the audience to know? Those that are watching and those that will
Mm,
come back and watch the replay later. It was it anything else other than yes, go get his book. Go get his book. Go get his book right now. Maurice, hold up your book for me, please, so that they can see. Yes. So that they can see the book cover. Look at that book cover to make sure they get the exact right book. Looking for Trouble with Maurice Hicks. You want to make sure you get a copy of that book. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. Go get it. If you already have the book, please make sure you do a review on Amazon for him. Not only Amazon, go do a Goodreads review as well. Okay. And so, are you on Goodreads? Have you looked at your profile on Goodreads?
yes, yes, I am.
Awesome. Okay, great. So yes, make sure you go follow instructions, y'all. Right? Follow
Mm,
instructions, and even if you don't read the book, if you like the Blessed Life LLC, she only does
mm,
Audible. She doesn't read books, right? And so go get a copy for somebody for Christmas, right? It makes a great stocking stuffer, especially for those of you that are in Maryland, like Tamara. Tamara was here early. I'm not sure if Tamara's still here. Those of you in Maryland, look, they right in your backyard, okay? Right up the street, less than an hour away. Y'all better get that book and find out what's going on in your the behind the scenes of what's going on in your backyard. Sherry says, that's right. Go buy a copy of Looking for Trouble today. So I'm going to put the link up again for Looking for Trouble because I want to make sure you go get a copy of it. Support, support, support. Again, even those of you that are watching the replay, because I know a lot of people that watch the replays later. When those of you watch the replay, put it in the chat on Facebook. Say, I watched it, or the chat on Facebook, both of them, or LinkedIn, because this is actually streaming to LinkedIn as well. So yes, Maurice is streaming to
mm.
Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn all at the same time.
Very good.
So, make sure y'all put in, I got a copy, and make sure you let us know that you have gotten a copy of Looking for Trouble. And then Sherry says, are you looking for trouble under your Christmas tree? Yes, make sure you buy it today from Amazon. So make
Mhm.
sure, yeah, get it and put it under the tree. Like again, it could be a stocking stuffer for somebody. Okay. So it get 20 for gifts. Hey. So Maurice, what is it? Anything else that you want those that are listening, those that will be watching and listening later, anything else you would want them to know before we get ready to chime off?
Absolutely. Uh, One of the most important things about my book is I talk about my faith and how my faith got me through the most difficult times in my life and having to make life and death decisions that
Mm,
affect people like these kids who were being targeted. And one of the things that really worked on my conscience and my nerves, you know, two of these children who were basically, I'll say they came under the drug pains, got caught in their web. Their fathers were calling me. Ironically, they reached me and their children are caught up in this web. And I have to worry about whether these kids are going to live or die.
mm,
And I went through this for 2.5 years. I couldn't tell them that I was the detective investigating the guy that was, that was holding their kids basically, under them. And I'm getting calls from there, and I'm trying to reassure. I'm trying to get them to get him away from the kingpin and his other henchmen.
mm,
And this is I go through for this for almost about a year and a half, and their life, their lives hung in the balance. Every decision I made, we did a wiretap, we intercepted calls, and one of the calls they were talking about killing one of them. So so in the book, I'm trying to allow people to understand what we go through. It can be very personal, very nerve wracking. You know, making a decision and making decisions that affect their life or death.
mm.
And one smallest miscalculation could cost somebody their lives. And
Wow.
the book really takes you there. It's not only talk about the cases, talk about what I go through mentally and emotionally with the case. So I like to say that. And then if they get looking for trouble, the sequel again is looking for trouble too, and it'll show as I become a supervisor, and I have to impart on these officers and sergeants, the work ethic that I had growing up in the neighborhood.
Mm,
So I had this other struggle trying to get people you know, to take their job seriously, and many of them do, but that's this challenge. And then lastly, there's something that happened in my family that thrust me into my next destiny, and that's becoming a private investigator. So um, I was a commander of robbery at the time, and my brother's murdered in Baltimore. And at the time, I'm networking with other commanders, and I go down to Baltimore City. I'm a lieutenant in Prince George's County at the time. I go down to Baltimore City, and I
mm,
meet with the commander of robbery. And while he's there, he takes me on a tour of the criminal investigation division. He takes me to homicide. He slaps the file cabinet and says, "These are the homicide files, and most of these cases will never be solved." And I stood there like a deer in the headlights. And I was like, my brother's in one of those. I didn't tell him that, but I was thinking my brother's one of
mm,
those files,
mm,
and his murder was never solved. So that's something else that really troubled me for years. And then I try to
mm.
figure how I can make something better. Something good could come out of it. And
Yeah.
then I decided to become a private investigator. And ironically, you talk about your daughter being a being a missing person, and
Well, no, she's not missing now, but that
she was, how
yeah, when
devastating
she
that
was a
is.
teenager, yeah, years ago. Mhm.
Yes, and I had a missing person case
Mm,
that was a lady who was on drugs, and her family hired me to try to track her down. The day she left the rehab facility, the next day, the friend that left with her OD'd on drugs. So
Wow.
now I'm faced with this other tremendous burden of finding this lady who has no identification. I mean, she has no electronics. She doesn't know anybody in Las Vegas. And now I have to racing against the clock to try to find this young lady, and and I have that burden. So that's going to be my third book. It's going to be Maurice for Hire, Vegas PI.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's good. I love that title. And I'm glad you said that because some people think, oh, well, he was only in, Maryland. So you just talked about a couple of the places. In addition to Baltimore, you were with the PG County Police Department and you were in Las Vegas. And how many, I think you said, what is it, 14 years? How many years
14,
were you?
14 years in Las
14
Vegas.
years. And I couldn't even imagine like Vegas.
Mm. Yes.
It's like two places that when I think about like anything goes in this country, I think about Vegas and New Orleans, like
Mm.
New Orleans when they have Mardi Gras and all of that and Bourbon Street. And it's like Vegas is wild to me. I don't know why anybody would have, like, we had a family reunion there more than once. And I'm like, why would anybody have a family reunion in Vegas? I just don't get it. It's not for kids, it's not for family. The first time I went there, there was because the slot machines in the airport, I was like, what
Yes.
is this? I'm like, this is not, and I've gone for
Mm.
conferences on several times. And I'm like, well, now I understand why they have conferences there. They have
Mhm.
some of the largest conference spaces and rooms, but for the life of me, Vegas is just not
Mm.
a nice, friendly place to be.
You
So
know what's
people are bad.
interesting? You know what's interesting with that missing person case? How many people, homeless and otherwise and on drugs, want to help? And
Wow,
it reminded
really?
me of when I walked foot patrol in the high-rise projects. Only a small percentage was criminal element. Most of them were just good people, and they
Mm.
really want to help. And that's what really shocked me. I mean, people would ask me, "Detective, you made any progress in your case?" So many people wanted to help, and it was just really amazing.
Wow, that
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yes.
That's a blessing. And it's so sad, like in some of the places, what they want to do with homeless people. And,
Mm.
I've heard really I've even heard, and I don't know if you could tell me a little bit about this. If I know in LA, they don't want the homeless people on the street, but have you been anywhere like in Vegas? Did they have the police officers try to get the homeless people to move out of certain places off the street?
Well, I remember at one point the mayor was trying to make it illegal to feed the homeless.
Oh my, that's crazy. In Vegas?
Yes.
See, and
They,
that's what I'm saying. It's
Mhm.
like, come on, like I said, y'all have real work to do. Like you said, murders and
Mhm.
drugs and you,
Mhm.
like it's gonna be illegal to feed that. That's crazy to me. Illegal to
Yeah.
feed the homeless. I would be in trouble all the time then because I keep in my truck,
Mhm.
in my truck. I literally keep like little bags and I get stuff from the Dollar Tree with some snacks and dollar dollar the bags I get, like I said, like socks. I get socks, water, bottled water, snacks, uh, sometimes even umbrellas, but I put all that stuff in these bags. And I remember this guy teasing me. He was teasing me. He said, what are you doing? I was like, I'm giving these to the homeless people. He said, that's why they're going to stay out on the street because people like you. And I was like, what? I was like, no, we can't just, I mean, what if that was your sister? What if that was your brother? What was that? What was your nephew that didn't have food because they lost their job or, they couldn't eat? I mean, come on. All of us have
Mhm.
had situations where we've had hard times. And I have
That's
been
right.
homeless before. I haven't been homeless before where I've eaten out of trash cans or didn't have food.
Mhm.
Thank God for
Mhm.
that. However, I have, been in situations before where I did not have my own home and didn't have a home and, lived out of hotels every day. The blessing is I had enough money 90% of the time to pay for hotels.
Mhm.
But the reality is I still was homeless. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the blessing was again, somebody had the nerve to say, well, you're not really homeless because you have a vehicle. And I'm like, well,
Mhm. Mhm.
because there are,
Mhm.
homeless people that don't have vehicles. But the reality is people can fall on hard times. So
Absolutely.
Yes, and we have to be able to take the Bible tells us to. You know, you talked about your faith earlier, and the Bible talks about feeding the homeless, the hungry, the widow, the orphan. That is a part of the mandate that we're supposed to take care of them. If we know somebody that's homeless, we need to not only pray for them, but if God tells us to help them, we need to help them. We need to be able to be, we're blessed to be a blessing. So when you talk about the homeless, oh my goodness, I'm like a
Yes.
real,
Well,
that's now that, yeah, especially homeless veterans. That really have my heart. No veteran should ever be homeless. And that's just, so
yes.
I will be uh, having not even a shelter. I don't even want to call it a shelter. It's going to be a luxury transitional home for veterans. Yes.
Well, I
Yes.
can throw this out real quickly. I had a missing person, had a homeless person, was one of my cases, who won a big settlement and they couldn't find him. That was another one of the cases I had. He
Wow.
right
Wow.
into statute of
Wow.
limitations, and I had to track this again. Guy with no electronics, no way of communicating. So those are kind of life altering cases that I had as a private investigator.
Wow. Wow. And we have Bertha who is in here from LinkedIn. I was telling them earlier how we have LinkedIn. We have some LinkedIn people in the house. Hey, Bertha. And Bertha said, this is an awesome program. I want to be featured on your show. You
That do
see?
it. Definitely do it.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. So are you an author, Bertha? Please put in the chat if you're an author. Definitely let me know. Sherry says, Amen. Amen. So, yes, we have to take care of our veterans. We have to take care of the homeless as well. So, I did take a screenshot of your photo. I'll be contacting you to be featured on my show because I am doing something more often. I had stopped for a little while the show, and the Six Figure Out the SoundStage is back. And so, Maurice is our second guest from being back since we've been back up and running. And so I appreciate you for coming on and really sharing with us, Maurice. Y'all make sure go get the book. Go get the book. It's called Looking for Trouble. And when you go to Amazon, please make sure you follow his Amazon Author Central page. It's a little button that says follow this author. Follow that, follow him so that when his next books come out, that you will be able to get a copy of his next book as well. Also, you want to follow him on social media, follow him on Facebook. I put his Facebook, his here's in the link as well. So you want to follow him on Facebook. You want to follow him on LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn right now, Bertha. You might as well go and follow him while you on LinkedIn. Connect with him on LinkedIn. And so again, we want to support. And Bertha says she is an author. Okay, thank you, Bertha. And so yes, I am looking to interview more authors. So I will contact you and definitely let you so that you can be featured on the show. So anything else before we wrap up, Maurice? Because we're gonna get ready to wrap this thing up. But I do want to appreciate you and thank you for being a guest on the Six Figure Author Soundstage. Okay.
I just want to say thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, yes, it has been a pleasure having you. And let's get this book out to the nations. Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. So, with that said, we are going to get ready to wrap up. Hey, 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 it's me, Melanie, the book boss lady. Thank you for joining. Make sure you share this and make sure you follow and like and subscribe on my YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Be blessed. Bye.
Bye bye.